Welcome to the Bentonville Film Festival.
Thank you.
You guys screened last night, right?
We did. It was yesterday. Our screening was yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
How did it go? What was the reaction?
We had a great reaction. We were in a fantastic block. Our film opened up the block. I think there was about 6 or 7 films in the block. And so ours is a spy genre film that has comedic undertones. And so it was great to be in a block with other films that just a wide range of genres and tones. So we're really happy to be able to kind of open it up on a lighter note and kind of see the depth with which the other films carried forward the block.
Now, for those of us not sitting in the theater seeing it, give us a little overview of your spy thriller.
Sure. So Agents of Change Project POLYMER is a spy genre short about secret agents who fight environmental crime. And it was a fun project, 15 minutes. And the film follows 2 secret agents. My character is less experienced, and my co-secret agent is very experienced, and we're on this mission to extract some data from someone who is illegally smuggling plastic out of the country. And so at the beginning of the film, we think we have what we're looking for. Come to find out we don't, and we have to go along a journey to figure out what exactly we need so we can actually pin this guy.
And I know your character. Tell me a little bit about your character in it, because I really liked your character.
Thank you. Kitty Amore. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I guess I can, because anyone watching this probably watched the short.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Okay, well, I sing the opening spy song. I'm a little nightclub singer, and then I come back for a surprise later on.
As a kitty would do.
Exactly. As a meow. Yes. Yeah.
Now, I know he wrote it, but was it written for you? Did he go, oh, this would be great for my friend?
Yeah. Yes. We have worked together before, and initially, I think I came on first as a producer. I said I would produce it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I wasn't expecting to be in it necessarily, and but I am a singer, and so when Shaan was saying he wanted to open it with a big, like, Goldfinger type Shirley Bassey number, I was like, say less. I need to do that. So I was really happy to be acting in it as well as producing, although it was a lot.
So as a producer, how long did you guys shoot? What was your budget? Was it a big budget, a little budget? Because it looks great.
Thank you. It was a pretty small budget for what we got.
Yeah, for what we got. But I'm happy to share.
Yeah,
I'm happy to share. We did crowdfunding back in 2018. We did a round of crowdfunding where we netted around $20,000 in cash. And at that time, the concept was a 7-episode digital series. And after our funding round, which we met our goal, but by the time we paid our fees and all kinds of things, it was basically $20,000. I was like, this is not enough money to shoot the idea that we have. And then just ended up going back to the drawing board and wanted to distill that idea down into a short that we could manage. However, even that $20,000 I still knew wasn't enough. So I ended up, per Gretchen's advice, I applied for a grant through Open Television, which is a fantastic Chicago-based media platform. And it was the first time that they had opened up their grant process to filmmakers across the country. The previous, I think, first 3 times that they did their grant, it was just for Chicago-based artists, and then this was nationwide. So I, being in Los Angeles, was able to submit. And Gretchen's previous project lives on their platform, and so she knows the folks well and recommended that I submit for it, and I was one of 4 people that won the fellowship for it, so that was an extra $10,000. And that's what helped us actually be able to tell the story that we wanted to tell the way that we wanted to do it.
Because the production value is very nice.
Thank you.
It really is, especially for that little bit of amount. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I thought it would have cost you a lot more. How long did you guys shoot?
It was 3 days and then 2 half days split. So we did, most of our shoot happened March 2022, and then we did a half day pickup in April 2022 where we did the car scene, and then another half day where we filmed the head of the secret agency, Madam Z. We shot her footage separately, so that was about 6 months later.
Okay, and what about the post? Because who did the sound? Because the sound is really good.
Thank you. We worked with a post house. So our other producer, Megan Fillmore, who's not here, recommended a post house called KO Creative. She's worked with them before. What ends up happening though, they had a lot of projects and a lot of projects that were willing to pay more. So those got priority, which we understand. Those got priority, and ours kind of, I think they were able to cobble together for us like when they had the time to do it. So our post process was a lot longer, which I think that's the trade-off. Mm-hmm. They always say you can have it good, fast, or cheap, but you can't have all three.
Yeah.
So they were able to work with us within budget. It just took quite a while. And then they got our sound to a certain point, and then we ended up working with this fantastic small company called Stranded Astronaut, and they finished up our post, kind of just cleaning up a few things here and there, and then the music of it all was a whole special thing, which was my favorite. And if you want to talk about that, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, it was your favorite thing. Keep going.
Okay.
You have to.
Our composer, Henry Mansfield, he was a friend of a friend, and he is a musician. He had never scored a movie before, and we had, some conversations early on, and he had one piece of music that was within the genre, and based on that, everything else was very different. It was kind of indie rock, so it was very different, but based on that one piece and then the conversations we had, he was just so willing to try and create what we wanted. And so between him and Gretchen's guidance, having a music background, and our director Jet, who also comes from a music and sound background, they were able to piece together just a really beautiful piece of music that helped us, I think, tonally with our film, because we're not quite drama, we're not quite comedy. We're just in this really beautiful in-between space where it's a film that has, I like to say, comedic undertones. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and also we worked with a musical theater composer, Riley Thomas, on the opening song. So Shaan whipped out the lyrics, which is very impressive because those aren't easy to make. And I've worked with Riley before. I have a musical theater background, actually. So I've worked with Riley in many, many productions and reached out to him and was like, hey, can you put music to this spy song? So he wrote the music, and then, Henry orchestrated around it and kind of like wove in the elements throughout.
What I liked about your short was that it's actually, as my notes say right here, you tackle a subject that's usually people either yell about or hit pause because they don't really care, because they don't want to know. But you made it entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Was that what you were going for? It's like, this is something that needs to be talked about.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. I know. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think just I'll be honest, when I first started this process, I just wanted to wear a cool suit and be a spy, and that was it. And then early on, I was collaborating with a good friend of mine, Mitch Delmonico, who is a writer, and I was like, we're doing this spy film, and all the spy films, there's a save the world kind of thing going on. What are they actually saving? I don't know. I'm along for the ride because they're fun films, but as we started digging, it seemed like there was a lot of things happening in real life that most of us are just living our life and are trying to get by and don't really pay that much attention to. And so I felt like I wanted to bring that out a little bit more, just so that we're a little bit more aware. But then what happens when you go down the rabbit hole, it gets kind of dark. And then and as I was also doing my research and seeing some other films that deal with environmental justice or climate change or corporate responsibility in that space, I was feeling hopeless. And I knew that's not what I wanted to make. I wanted to make a film where people felt empowered. And so the earlier version of this film was actually called Agent of Change. And I changed it intentionally to Agents because I wanted people to feel like we're not alone in this movement. We can do this. We can do this together. And we have to do this together. And so the idea was to try and create something that left people feeling excited and hopeful and wanting to engage with the movement. I will also say our villain, the character's name is Ian Dick, and the actor who plays this character is Michael D. Cohen. Michael comes from Nickelodeon. He's on Henry Danger and Danger Force, and so he's just so effortlessly charming and also sinister in the way that he delivers his evil villain speech. And so I think like having the right cast in place really helped us with creating the comedic undertones that we were going for with dealing with a serious subject matter.
Speaking of the cast, tell me why you chose to cast the way you did, since it had nothing to do with the story.
Yes, great question. We cast queer and trans folks in a spy genre film. That was a very intentional choice. And I am a South Asian identified trans man, and I wanted to see a film where I could play a character that didn't have to deal with identity. While I have a deep appreciation for projects and films that do tackle identity, I wanted to do something different because I think that's part of the next step when we talk about representation in media. When we hear about someone's identity, sometimes we get locked into thinking that's all they are. And I knew there was just so much more to my experience and so many other things I was also interested in exploring. And so I got to work with Rain Valdez on a previous project called Razor Tongue, which is a series that she created. And as soon as I started to imagine her as playing Evelyn Quinn, my co-secret agent, the writing just popped and I knew I was headed in the right direction. Michael D. Cohen is also a trans actor, and I love the idea of placing him as a villain in the film because he is on a kids show and he plays kind of a goofy character, and I'm like, well, as an actor who wants a full body of work, he's gonna, this is something different that people haven't seen from him. And so I wanted that. Dalila Ali Raja, who plays the head of our secret agency, identifies as bisexual and is Black and is an amazing force in the industry and just has a powerful voice and has that kind of motherly, boss energy. Yeah, and so she just seemed like the right fit. And so while all of us carry these identities, and of course, Gretchen, I want you to talk about your identity since you're sitting here.
Thank you. So yeah, I identify as a queer femme, and we actually met doing my series called These Thems, which is a queer comedy series, which was very much about identity, very much about like, this is this group of people, this is how they identify, and this is them living their lives. So it was actually really cool that Shaan wanted to do this project, and yeah, everybody just happens to be trans or queer. It's not part of the main plot point. And something else that I remember you said early on was specifically the people who will be leading the climate movement, or who should be leading the climate movement, are people of color, because they are the most affected by it, and Indigenous people specifically know how to help the world more than any other.
Well, definitely there's a connection, a cultural connection to the land. Yeah. And in a lot of the spy genre films that I see, the hero is always a cis white male. The crime is always overseas, and it's usually, many times involves someone who's not a white American. And I feel like there's a lot to explore just in our own country and to kind of investigate about the politics of who is seen as the hero and who is seen as the villain. And so, thank you for adding that to it, because that was definitely part of the intention going into the filming of this project.
Okay, so creatively, I understand why you did what you did, but as producers, are you doing this as a selling point, mentioning the fact, oh, by the way, everybody on the film?
I don't, what's interesting, I don't think I've thought of it as a selling point necessarily. like it was the idea to cast queer and trans people and center people of color at the forefront of the movement, to me, wasn't a selling point. If anything, I felt like we'd probably get some pushback to whoever the buyers were on that, to see more white folks as the heroes in the story. Of course, this is a short, the feature is a much bigger world, but I feel like, to me, it just feels organic. I guess that's the thing. It just felt like an organic decision. And if people are into it, great. If people aren't, of course, we'll have that as well. So that's
Because, I watched it. It stands on its own.
Thank you.
It's like, this is very cute. I like where you're going. I hope there's an episodic thing or a feature that would come out of it, because you had strong enough characters to do that. So I was like, I hope they are thinking about that, because I just like the character. Kitty's my favorite. I'm sorry.
Kitty's my favorite too. She always says, I have a small part in the film, and I'm like, it's the best part.
It's the best part.
Yeah.
It is. It's the punchline. It's the punchline. So, yes, and we can't talk about it. So, where do you see this landing? Where would you like this to be picked up? Where, as far as distribution, people are listening, where would it find a good home?
I think I would want to work with a company and organization that sees it the way that we see it. I love what Apple is doing. I think folks, from what I've heard, like creators who work with Apple generally feel supported. And I think as long as we have that, I think there's potential there for Hulu, for Netflix, for all the streamers, for Sony, there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think at the end of the day, it's about, the companies tend to shift. It just depends on who's the executive at the time that you're pitching to, and if they support the vision and can help create the kind of collaborative atmosphere that a project like this needs, then I'm all in.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think also this truly is a proof of concept for a larger idea. So we are looking for the right people to come along who see the value in having secret agents who fight environmental crime, which is very topical and told in like a really unique way. So I think in addition to just finding the right distribution partners, finding someone who is able to take it to the next level and help us, champion it into either a feature or series, whatever.
We were talking about this morning. We met some great folks from I don't know if I can say, but a particular company who's out here who's in the animation space, and so that's something that I had brewed on before, but it's like, oh, okay, now we have a potential in, so it's like, let's explore that, because again, it is such a fun genre. It's very true to its genre. It's like, you could have a graphic novel version, you could have an animated version, you could do so many things. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, and I really liked your short. I did.
Thank you so much for also asking incredible questions and engaging with us. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad you liked Kitty.
I did.
That laugh is everything you need to know about Kitty, isn't that laugh?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, have you ever seen the kids show Odd Squad? Because when I was doing research, I was like, this reminds me of Odd Squad. Only because you guys are adults, though, because Odd Squad, I think, ran for 8 years. My niece is 8. That's the only reason I know about it. She was watching it. It's one of her favorite shows. And it's kids dressed up as adults, but they're secret agents. And they're always solving something, but it's always science or math-based.
Yeah.
And they're cracking the case, but they're always involved in science and math to teach kids about science and math.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's all spies.
It's called Oddballs?
Odd Squad.
Odd Squad.
Odd Squad. On who is it? It was PBS. I guess it's PBS.
Cool.
So it's a PBS thing. Yeah,
Nice.
Odd Squad. If you get a chance, watch it.
That sounds awesome.
Because you got like the grown-up version.
You know what? And we it's a clean film. I mean, like,
It really is.
even there's a moment where my character, he could have said what the,
Yeah.
but he says what the heck. It's such an earnest, clean film. So.